Hey Flosstube, this is Jean of Monticello Stitches and welcome to my channel. It's April Fool's Day. Hope you're having a great day. It's truly April Fool's Day here because it's been beautiful and now it's cold, really cold. So this is a typical Georgia spring. I have not done a video in a couple of weeks, had a few things going on. The first thing was I got my first COVID vaccine. I actually had COVID last year. I got my first COVID vaccine and it made me sick. I lost about 3 days feeling really punk in the bed. And just in doing a little reading, I found out that if you have had COVID, sometimes the vaccine kicks your butt. And it certainly did that for me. So I've got one more to go. And see how that goes. Hopefully my immune response was so strong this time that all those little critters are in there doing their thing and they won't kill me next time. But so I kind of lost a week there. But I've been stitching. I just learned, and you may know this, Needlework Expo is going to have another show in August, the last of August, the last 3 days of August. So I am busy getting things ready for that show. I hope to have 6 designs, new designs, and I have 2 charted and almost completely stitched, and I've started stitching a 3rd one. I have 2 more that are not quite right. I don't know when they're going to get right, but hopefully before too long. So anyway, I'm working toward those goals. I have several people to thank here. One is Cindy Sorley of Stitchery Express. She sent me some goodies. She represents Flair stitching fabric, which I had never used. And she said, oh, you've got to try it and I'll send you some. And oh my, I'm going to share with you what she sent me. It's linen, but it's printed on linen. So you don't necessarily have the problem sometimes you have with dyed linen that perhaps it's not color fast, but they have every kind of thing you have ever thought of to stitch on, and I like 32 count. So she sent me several of those. So I'm just going to share with you. Another thing about these is they have printed on here exactly what they are. I'm real bad about snatching up a piece of linen and starting to stitch and never remembering again what the heck was the name of that linen. But this is really nice for people like me. This one is called Maple Bacon. Isn't that cool? I love things that kind of look antiqued, and this one sort of does. So I don't know what I'm going to do on these yet. I thought I had a start going on one of my new things, and I'm notorious for playing chicken with my piece of fabric about having enough to frame. And at the last 2 or 3 things I've had to add fabric to the sides to have enough to stretch over my backing board to frame, and that's just no fun at all. So I'm really trying to tell myself you must use a bigger piece of linen. So I had started on one of these for my new thing and it was just not gonna work the way I'd hoped. I was gonna be right back in chicken land. Am I gonna make it? Is there enough to frame? So I started over on something else. But that's a piece of that. I'm gonna show you the others too. This one is yummy. This one's called Nut, which I really like. I feel like a nut. Isn't that pretty? Fabric Flair Nut, 32 count. So I've got big plans for these. I'm not sure exactly what they're gonna be yet, but I got plans. This one is called Pecan, which is gorgeous. Isn't that pretty? They have so many neat things in this Fabric Flair. I just was not clued into Fabric Flair, but depending on what you like to stitch, they have things they call medleys, which is basically a really big piece of linen divided into 4ths. If you were doing a lot of small things, you get 4 different varieties of a print on these medleys. And I think my favorite might be slushies. Those are kind of this antiqued modeled look. But if you have tried Fabric Flair and liked it, let me know. Or whatever your thoughts were about Fabric Flair to stitch on? I'd love to know because it's all new to me. Have another shout out, Linda of Erica Michaels, and her last name is, of course, zipping out my mind right this minute, but she was so kind to answer some questions for me, such a newcomer, about, hey, you ever done a trunk show? And what's all that about? So I want to thank her so much. So many people who have been doing this a long time are very generous with their experience and thoughts and encouragement. So thank you, Linda. I have some things I have bought to help me that might help you. First is I have a Quaker sampler in my head. I hope it's going to come out on fabric, but I've started it. So, what's her name here? Joanna Cabanova, who was in my stitching virtual room at Needlework Expo, has done so many beautiful Quaker pieces. And I said, well, where are you getting your design? So she shared with me, and you can certainly get this too, this book called Stitchy Box Samplers, and it's the Ackworth School Motif Pattern Book. Well, this is so cool. So many wonderful possibilities in here if you have a Quaker sampler rolling around in your head, as it appears that I have one in my head. But I really thank Joanna for that so much, because I'm going to use it. I'm using it now. I have a couple of last things to say about the Needlework Expo that I just did. I neglected, and I hate that I did this, I neglected to shout out to my fellow new designer stitchers who were in the other virtual design room as newcomers. There were 2 groups, 3 in each, and the other ones have wonderful things, and I want you to be aware of them. First is Sister Lou Stitches, and she's on Instagram. That's Sarah Welburn, and she is such a wonderful person. Her designs are fanciful, kind of like children's illustrations remind me of, like in a really good children's book. But a lot of them are biblically based and very sweet, and you will like to stitch those. So that is Sister Lou Stitches, Instagram, maybe an Etsy shop, I believe so. The other was Jonesy Stitchery, Megan Jones of Alaska, and her designs reflect Alaskan themes and wildlife and puffins and whales. Wonderful stuff. So her things are great. And the last was Boulder Valley Stitching, beautiful stuff. We're all babies in cross-stitch land finding our way, and they were a delight to be in that show with too. So I'll link them below, and you can certainly check them out. Throw them some love. I know they'd appreciate it. I have to have my list because I can't remember anything anymore. Another big thing is I have listed my big inventory of 6 designs with Yarn Tree distributors. I'm also looking at another one, but so far I'm just with Yarn Tree distributors. So if you have a shop that would like to get them, and perhaps they would like to look in there, Yarn Tree sells individually too. If you want to buy the chart in print, you're welcome to go there. I'm listed under Monticello Stitches there. I still have my things on Etsy for PDF. I'm going to keep them there. Originally, I thought I would have the printed chart in my Etsy shop too, but I think I'm just going to keep the PDFs at this point, because really I would prefer that a shop sell my stuff, because everybody wins then. So that's what I would like to do. I have discovered some new thread that I'm using on one of my designs, and you might like it. And it is called Not Near Me. It's called Treasure Braid by Rainbow Gallery, and it's metallics in beautiful colors. This is sort of a simple color, but I will find them. Hang on. I was sitting on them. These are fun. They're very, very beautiful metallics. I did a little bit of metallic stitching on one of my mermaid type samplers. It was not fun. This is tremendously thin filament. Pardon me. Pollen down here is terrible. But it lays very flat. You can blend it. See if you can see it. You can blend it with another fiber, DMC if you want. You can put several strands together. I had originally started this sampler I'm working on now with a strand of this treasure braid and a strand of DMC, and it just didn't look right. So I'm experimenting with 2 strands of this. But let me just show you these great colors. So this is, the names are not on here, of course, just numbers. But I bought these from 123 Stitch, and they will just add a little sparkle to what you're doing. So there's that. Here's a pretty green. I loved them so much and was looking at my colors for this thing I'm working on. And I just had to order about 6 more. So I don't know, my sampler may look like Las Vegas or something when it's all done, but these are really fun. I think Fiber Talk, Gary on Fiber Talk just interviewed the guy about these. The man who owns this company, which is called Rainbow Gallery. These are really, really fun. So I've got some golds, some bronzes, all these colors, and more colors are coming. So I started stitching my new thing, and I was gonna play stitching chicken, so I've decided to use that fabric to kind of audition these metallics, either alone or with another floss, to see if that's the look I was going for with my stuff. In cross stitch land, as a newcomer, I'm learning so much. I certainly would rather not make any missteps. I'm sure I will, but it's interesting to note that the idea of releases or sneak peeks and all that is a real thing, and so I won't be sharing my new designs until before the next Needlework show, except that's not true. I won't be sharing the whole thing, but I'll give you a sneak peek, because I would like to keep some of it suspenseful. But I have, on my 2 samplers that I have almost finished, I kind of got tired of them and stopped. One only lacks the border, the last border, but I will show them to you, and you've seen them before, but I'm getting there. So I'm in the process now of stitching this border on this. And I have also learned that I might make my things too big. They seem to be, I don't know, a lot bigger. And looking at what other people are stitching and how many things they're putting out, and you can put out more if you make it smaller, but apparently that has not quite reached my psyche yet. So here's the other one I'm working on. It's coming. So those 2 are almost finished, and then I started this other one because I was really tired of what I was doing. Spring in Georgia, the pollen is unbelievable, and so we're all sniffing and sounding like frogs down here. I swept off my porch yesterday, and it was like yellow fog. Just crazy. But that's my floss tube for the moment. This is floss tube number 9, I think. I'm gonna have more to share. I hate to be silly about holding back on my designs, but I am learning a lot about this business and how to do it the right way so you don't step on anybody's toes, which I really don't want to do. And I do want my designs in online shops or brick and mortar shops, so I hope to make them appealing to everybody. Let's see. In the meantime, I'm stitching like a fruitcake every day. And that's good. That's totally good. That's what I wanted to do. But thanks for joining me today, friends. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe and see you next time.